Hey everybody, it's your Thursday, Friday, Monday guy. I'm doing something else again, but I wanted to talk to you. Since the times of early law enforcement, when Sir Robert Peel was called a Bobby, there have been different eras in law enforcement. And during those different eras of law enforcement, we experience changes. And so we know that during the 1960s, we experienced a time that law enforcement was going through a definite change. And during that time, people became more combative against the police, and the police became more combative against the people. And so there was an us versus them mentality that started at about that time. We worked really hard in law enforcement to correct that situation during the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s with a program called community-oriented policing. And with community-oriented policing, we got out there in the community and got to know the people. Not just the rich people, but we got to know all the people, especially the people who might be in areas that were causing some of the issues. If they were homeless, we got to know who they were too, because they are part of your community. Anyways, that was an era, and that era has passed. We entered another era when the police could do nothing right, according to people. And there were a lot of issues with race and other things that came about that were really not germane to law enforcement, and it villainized the police. So a movement started called Back the Blue, or Back the Badge. And those were great movements, or Thin Blue Line was another good one. And the reason those were good is because they supported and defended law enforcement officers. Because at that point, they could do no right. And as we started supporting them and let them know, no, we support you, they began to believe they could do no wrong. And as they began to believe they could do no wrong, we've entered into another era of law enforcement. An era where if you don't admit your mistakes and you can't correct or do an investigation, then what you are just jackbooted thugs and not really law enforcement, are you? No. The purpose of law enforcement to protect and serve the communities, right? To protect and serve the community in which hopefully you live. But if you don't live in the community and you don't care about the community, then you're not going to serve the community. You're going to serve yourself for a paycheck. And I think we need to get away from that. I think we need to go back to an era where people and law enforcement understand that we're one community, not a multiplicity of communities. We're one community, helping each other get through life in a positive fashion as Americans with our freedoms and liberties that God, our inalienable rights, has provided to us. That's it. All right. Well, hey, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Use common sense. It helps.